Hi there, this is Sandra with the Mortgage Center. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on my regular live video. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about what are some of my best tips on paying off your debt fast. And as a mortgage broker, the way that I really see myself in helping people who have debt, and everybody has debt, everybody's got debt, is to be a liability planner. So just like you would go to a financial planner to help you plan your assets, you'd come to someone like me, like a mortgage broker, to help you plan your liabilities. So let's get started. How to pay off your debt fast. Well, one of the easiest ways to do that, and most of you may know this, is that if you have credit card debt that you're not paying off on a monthly basis, you may want to move that credit card debt to a line of credit. And the main reason for that is that the line of credit, the interest rate is a lot cheaper. So credit cards are typically at 20% if you're lucky. Line of credits are somewhere between 6 and 10%, and those are unsecured lines of credit. The other interesting thing about moving the debt from a credit card to a line of credit, and I mean that doesn't solve the problem, it just helps you pay down the debt quicker, is that the compounding period on lines of credit are monthly, and credit cards, for example, the compounding period or how the interest is calculated are it's daily. Right. Mortgages, on the other hand, they're compounded semi-annually. So technically, if you move your credit card debt to a line of credit, you should end up paying it off quicker. The other sort of tip for you is that, again, most of us have credit card or line of credit debt that we're not paying off on a monthly basis in full. And like we're in the middle of a pandemic, so but it's good to get it paid off. So the second tip I have for you is actually put that debt payment into your budget. So for example, if I have a line of credit debt of $5,000, I can say, okay, I want to pay that off in 5 months. Thanks for everyone for joining me tonight. I want to pay that debt off in 5 months. So that $5,000 debt that I have, I'm going to pay it over $500 over 5 months, or maybe I'll pay $250 every time I get my paycheck, which is every other week. So that's the second tip on how to pay off debt, is budget for it. My husband and I have sort of a debate on this, but one of the things that, let's just say if I have a $10,000 line of credit and a $3,000 credit card, how do I pay those two things off if I'm not paying them off on a monthly basis? How I would do it is I would first tackle that $3,000 that I have, pay it off, and just pay like the minimum monthly payment on the line of credit. And then once I have the credit card paid off, then I would like to pay the line of credit off. So that's kind of my third tip on how to pay off debt fast. And the last one is if I'm not paying off if I can't do this, and usually the rule of thumb for me is if you have about $20,000 worth of like credit card and line of credit debt, it makes sense to consolidate that into your mortgage, and because most people won't be able to pay off $20,000 worth of debt in less than a year. I mean, you'd have to be you paying at least $2,000 a month towards that debt, and then not adding anything to it. So, so if you own a house and you've got credit card or line of credit debt probably over 20,000, I would say, rolling that into your mortgage is probably the most constructive way to pay off that debt. Again, it doesn't eliminate it. It doesn't really pay it off, but it helps you pay it off. So let's kind of unpack this a little bit. So if I own a house and it's $600,000 and I have a mortgage of $400,000, technically, let's just say if I sold that $600,000 house, I'd have $600,000 minus $400,000. And if I wasn't going to buy another house, I would get $200,000 in cash. Okay. So that $200,000 that is equity in your house is actually cash that's locked up into the equity of your house. So how do I use that to pay off my debt? Well, you can refinance your mortgage, and so does that mean I have $200,000 worth of debt that I can clear? No, you can only refinance a mortgage to 80% of the value of the property. So again, let's go back to this example. If I own my house for 600,000, and the regulatory requirements say that most financial institutions can only refinance a mortgage to 80% of the value of your property. So I own a house at 600,000. I multiply that by 80%, which ends up being 480,000. And then in this example, if I subtract the current balance on the mortgage, which is 400,000, I have about 80 grand I can work with to pay off some of that debt. Okay, so that's how you would access the equity in your house. So you can always reach me. I'm feeling totally motivated tonight to share this information with you. You can reach me through Facebook. You can just message me, or you can go to my website at skipthebank.ca, and you can schedule an appointment. I've got this really cool link there where you can, it's not a cool link, it's just a link. You just click on the link and you can schedule a 15-minute consultation with me. So thanks so much for joining tonight at the live. Thanks to those who've joined us. I appreciate that. And looking forward to connecting.